With the recent release of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes on Blu-ray and 4K, the much buzzed about Raw cut comes along with it and is now available for all fans to watch. I finally got a chance to watch the entire film this way and wanted to take some time to break down my thoughts as well as what my biggest takeaways were from watching it. If you like what I do here and want to show your support, be sure to hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all things Apes. Enjoy the video. And welcome to Ape Nation, your #1 source for all things Planet of the Apes on YouTube. My name is Josh, and today I am giving my thoughts and an overall review of the recently released and much discussed Raw cut of the latest film in the Planet of the Apes franchise, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. For those who do not know what the Raw cut is, this is an alternate way to watch the movie where you are shown a split-screen presentation showcasing the raw, unfinished version of the film without any of the CGI added on the bottom half of the screen, and the final cut with all of the CGI, color grading, and everything else added on the top half of the screen. This cut is exclusively available to watch if you have purchased the 4K UHD physical copy of the film and is located on the Blu-ray disc, while the theatrical cut is on the 4K disc. This is the only way to watch the Raw cut, as it is not available on the standard Blu-ray or the digital copy, so if you want to check it out for yourself, you will need to have a 4K copy of the movie. As many of you who subscribe likely already know, this version of the movie is something that I have been crazy excited about for months now, ever since Wes Ball, the film's director, first revealed to me on this channel that this was something that was being worked on. I was ecstatic. This is something that I've wanted to see done for a Planet of the Apes movie for over a decade now, ever since the release of Rise all the way through War and up to now, so it is really exciting to finally get to see it done for one of them. So now that I've finally gotten a chance to sit down and watch it with audio commentary over it provided by Wes Ball, VFX supervisor Eric Winquist, and editor Dan Zimmerman, what did I think of it? I thought it was incredibly cool, incredibly fascinating, informative, and honestly, for people who love filmmaking and making of documentaries and seeing how movies get made, it was just a whole lot of fun. So like I said, I watched this with the audio commentary from Wes Ball and some of the other filmmakers, and I think watching it with the commentary is what really brought this all together for me, because that combined with seeing the movie in the raw cut format, it made this entire experience feel like this really new and unique feature-length making of behind the scenes documentary that I wasn't really expecting to feel, but I did. I mean, first you had so many little details and tidbits that are revealed about the movie throughout this commentary while you're watching over it, and filmmakers are pointing things out here and there, you know, like things like Cody Smith McPhee, who was in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. His dad actually plays one of the apes during the village raid sequence, or later on during the movie when Raka says "together strong" before going over the water. That line of him saying "together strong" was originally not in the movie. That was added 2 weeks before they were finished, and it was recorded from Peter Macon's iPhone. And then there are other cool things that you learn, like the character designs. They actually hadn't figured those out until midway, if not after they were done filming. So they were then taking the actors' performances and the actors' facial structures and their looks and incorporating those into the design, which I think is kind of how they've gone with all of these movies, but in this one in particular, it seems like they really amplified that. They really brought the actors' features. You know, there are things like Owen Teague, one of his eyes is like slightly lower on his face than the other one, and so they incorporate that into Noah's design. Things like that I just think are really exciting and really cool to learn about. I could definitely see someone getting a little tired of watching this if they're not watching with the commentary and just watching the movie in the raw cut format. So if you are going to watch it, I personally would recommend watching it with the commentary, but I do still think if you're just going to watch it as is without the commentary, there's still a lot of fun to be had. It's really cool to see back and forth, you know, compare and contrast all these different things. It's still really cool to see how much was real versus how much was purely digitally created, or how much was shot on location versus how many scenes were sound stages with blue screens in the background. And surprisingly, the vast majority of this movie, at least from this raw cut, was done practically. They did a lot of this on location, and I know we already heard that, but so much of this was done for real. So many of these shots are directly pulled from the reference footage that we see in the final cut. It's really, really incredible to look at. But then also on the other side of it, it's really impressive to see the stuff that is fully CGI that originally think, oh, some of that had to have some real elements sequence and then you go watch it and no, it's entirely CGI. The entire third act water sequence, which I didn't know, was fully created in CGI. None of that was filmed. And I thought they had at least done a couple things here and there, maybe one or two shots, and there are maybe tiny bits here and there, but for the most part, it's entirely done through CGI. Every drop of water, it's all pure CGI. It's not something they filmed and then added CGI later. Every single element of that scene is visual effects, and I just thought that was equally as impressive as seeing how much was done on location for real. Another thing you learn is that only 38 shots in the entire movie didn't require visual effects, and so even a lot of the shots that are real, there are little things in the back you see that they either erased or they painted in. It's some of the most incredible stuff, seeing it in its raw form, then looking at where it ultimately ended up. Some things are like almost directly pulled from the original shot footage, and then other things here and there are radically different, and I think it was just so fascinating to see that compare and contrast constantly throughout the entire 2+ hour runtime of the movie. And it just made me all the more fascinated to see a raw cut of other movies, especially to see the differences in how these types of movies were made back when Rise, Dawn, and War were coming out versus now, and to see what those differences are, how much farther the technology has come, what they weren't able to do then that they were able to do on this one. You know, I'd love to go watch a raw cut of those movies, or even, like I've mentioned before, something like the Avatar movies that use the same kind of technology for their world and for their characters. And so again, this just made me want to see more movies embrace a cut like this. I think it would be really cool as a feature in future Blu-rays. I hope that maybe James Cameron takes a look at this and incorporates it into the bonus features on Avatar 3 whenever that comes out on Blu-ray in a few years from now. I hope the same thing happens again when we get the next Planet of the Apes movie. I hope we get another cut just like this. I think it would be really, really cool. Another thing I think is really cool is seeing how close the animators get to recreating the actors' performances in some scenes versus when they needed to change it in others. It's really, really impressive to see that the majority of the apes that we see in the movie, at least the main character ones that are getting prominent screen time, it is directly captured from their performance down to every muscle tick and twitch, every facial movement, every little detail of their body movement. It is incorporated into that performance down to a T for a lot of these shots. Of course, there are other shots where they have to change things. They have to adjust the way the ape is moving to fit the shot more. But as much as they possibly can, they take that actor's performance and capture it down to the very last detail. And it's just incredibly impressive to watch that side by side with each other. It's one thing just seeing it on its own, but then seeing them directly next to each other for the entire movie, it's really, really impressive. And this version of the movie also just gave me a new appreciation for the entire cast, in particular Owen Teague and Freya Allen. With Owen Teague, it showed me, and I kind of already knew this because I've liked him in what I've seen him prior to Kingdom, and I loved him in Kingdom, but without the CGI, you can even more see just how compelling of a performer he is with just his face and just his expressions and his eyes. He is such an expressive and I think emotionally compelling actor, and it made me so excited to see where his career is going to go outside of Planet of the Apes. He's an actor that showcases that he can have a lot of charisma and can create a lot of empathy for you as a viewer, and so I really am looking forward to seeing what he as an actor does next. And same can be said for Freya Allen, who I really liked in this movie, but watching what she does in the raw cut here, which is something that I didn't really expect to take away, is how much she's having to do on this movie and just how well she's able to do it, with how perfectly she had to shoot her scenes exactly the same multiple times, because she's having to shoot one version of the scene where she's having motion capture actors standing in the scene with her, and then she's having to shoot the entire sequence again with nobody else in the scene with her, and she had to do that so many times, and there's multiple times throughout the raw cut where you see the version that was just her, and it's incredible how it is just so effortlessly done exactly the same as if there was someone there with her, and she does such a great job of performing without having anybody there to act off of as well. And so I think both of these actors were really, really impressive, even more this time around for me, and so it just made me appreciate them both. I'm looking forward to seeing where both of their careers end up going. Another thing that this cut made me not so much appreciate but believe even more is that the art of performance capture, it is about time that we start recognizing it for awards. I don't know what that actually means, but I think that this cut could potentially lead to those wider conversations about how do we start recognizing this work. You know, I'm not saying this movie in particular anybody deserves an Oscar. I think everyone's fantastic, but when you go back to War for the Planet of the Apes and look at what Andy Serkis did, you look at some other motion capture performances throughout the decades, and it really makes you go, why is this not being taken as seriously as anybody else? It absolutely should, because when you watch what the performers are doing in this movie, for the most part, it's not really any different than what an actor or actress is doing just standing in front of the camera doing the shot without any visual effects. They're still acting acting, they're still giving an incredible performance, and their performance is reflected on the screen. I don't know whether a new category should be created or if we can somehow find a way to get these actors eligible for Best Actor and Actress and Supporting Actor and Actress, but whatever it is, something needs to change, because it is very clear to me that this is an art form that is going to this day completely unjustifiably unrecognized, and that needs to change. And I'm hopeful that this cut can at least further that conversation along in a bigger way than it's ever been done before. Maybe not, but I think it can, and I think it should. So overall, I think that the raw cut of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is something that all fans, especially if you're into filmmaking and behind the scenes content and are just fascinated to learn more about the process of making a movie like this and the artistry of it all, I think it's one of the best and most rewarding bonus features, honestly, just of any movie that I've seen in years. And it reminded me of the DVD features that I grew up loving, that I grew up obsessing over and watching for hours and hours and hours. I love getting to watch this. I thought it was a really fun experience. It was really unique in a way, and it was not something I've ever really thought I would ever get to see. So finally getting to see a Planet of the Apes movie presented this way was really, really fun for me. And it also made me hopeful that the era of physical media and really well-made and in-depth bonus features still has some life left in it. Physical media, and specifically just bonus features in general that we used to get tons of, we don't get that stuff anymore. We don't get it on nearly the scale. And I don't think this is really gonna change things in that major of a way in this regard, but I'm hoping that maybe this could start some sort of conversation about bringing that stuff back, putting a little more money and time into it. You know, I think it would be well worth it. Maybe we're never gonna get to the era of having 6+ hours of bonus features again, but still, I would love to see more innovative stuff like this put on Blu-rays, put on DVDs, and I'm just so happy that we got it with this one. But I want to know what you guys think. Did you get a chance to check out the raw cut of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes for yourselves? Did you watch it with the commentary like I did, or did you just watch it on its own? I want to know all of your thoughts down below, and let me know what you thought of what I had to say here today. Thank you so much for checking out today's video here on Ape Nation. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all things apes. I'll catch you in the next one, so until then, goodbye.